start rolling on that.
So, guys, this is Yin Waster. We got Griffin and Gabe. And they're pretty much a dynamic duo, I would say so. I call them an icon. But yeah, you guys have done a little bit of like psychedelic and like folk and then jazz, I would say, like the combo of those three. And then you guys have done 5 albums now, right?
We're officially saying 2, but we've done a lot of like EPs and other releases and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, before I ask questions, I just wanted to say like Hot Cement is my favorite song.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're working on doing that one live.
Yeah, I like the way that it just shifts into a completely different segment and everything. Like the way you guys are able to make the music kind of evolve as it goes on, I think is like really awesome.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, when did you guys first meet each other? Like, you know, how did that kind of happen?
So there's this poster that Griffin put out, and it said, "Avant-garde / experimental drummer wanted. Call or text," and then it has his phone number for more info.
Interesting. And when was that? Like, how long ago was that?
It was my sophomore year of college, so his freshman year.
Oh, okay.
So, geez, probably about like 4 years ago?
5.
5 years ago, yeah.
Interesting. So then, when you guys first started like playing together, did it take you guys a while to figure out what type of sound you were gonna go for, or did you guys just kind of know what you were gonna do right away?
We kind of just did it.
Yeah, it's like because I'd been doing it solo for probably about a couple years and stuff, just kind of like figuring out how to record and things, and so it was like I kind of had an idea of like what I wanted like my guitar and stuff to sound like production wise on like recordings, and so it was like kind of figuring out how to like. I still don't know that much about drums, but like I knew even less back then, so it was like what kind of beats are there, what kind of drums are there, what's like Gabe's approach to drums. So it was like it kind of just evolved naturally over time.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. So then when did you start playing the drums then? Like, what age was
I
that?
started drumming in like 5th grade.
Okay, yeah, right. And then what, so do you guys play multiple instruments, or like what are all the different I'm trying to
I play multiple instruments.
Okay.
Because guitar's my main instrument. I play bass. I do some keyboard synthesizer stuff as well. And those are like the main 3. Some people don't consider singing an instrument.
I would definitely consider it.
I'm inclined to disagree, but also like I'm not the best singer in the world, so they'd be like, so I play like 3.5 instruments depending on who you ask.
Yeah. Do you think that like some people can't? Do you think that some people just can't become good singers? Do you think there's some people where they just have a voice where it's like it's impossible, or do you think that everyone can kind of become
like my favorite singer is Bob Dylan, so like, I feel like you're kind of coming to the wrong guy. But
yeah, that's a good point.
But no, it's like I think anyone can be a good singer. It just depends on what you're looking for. Like there's like people. There's this interview with Jeff Tweedy the other day from Wilco, and he was talking about how like he doesn't really like the song I Will Always Love You, just because he's like it's like this big kind of belt, and he's like I don't really belt my notes, I just kind of like sing talk. And it's like I felt very like seen when I was like listening to that, because I was like, oh, like I kind of agree. I noticed that like there's a lot of like types of music out there that like I can appreciate it, and I might even like it a little bit. It's not my go-to genre because it's something that like I either can't do or don't do, or like it's not the experience I seek out within music. So anyone can sing, anyone can play any instrument. It's just a matter of like finding, for lack of a better term, like your target audience and people who want that experience.
That makes sense. Yeah. Did you start the drums because you did band like in school, or was it because like you just had a passion outside of that?
One of my teachers in elementary school, their daughter had a drum kit, and then they just kind of stopped playing. So they offered my mom the kit. I think they've offered it for like $100. My mom was like, "Hey, do you want a drum kit?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then we started classes and stuff, and then yeah, it's been history since. I mean, Yeah,
Right.
it's been history since that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then what was that kind of, was it a similar experience for you, or did someone like introduce you?
No, there was always a lot of music in the house growing up.
Mhm.
So, and like my parents are like older, so there's a lot of like guitar based music.
Right.
And I remember like really falling in love with like AC/DC and like
Oh, yeah.
Hell's Bells in particular. And I was like, oh, there's like swearing. They're talking about Satan. And I grew up not in a particularly conservative household, but definitely a household where it was like, you're a kid. There's certain things we don't talk about.
Right.
But with music, it seemed a little bit looser. So I was like, oh, music's kind of this gateway to this, to all these things I want to learn more about, like swearing and Satan.
Well, yeah, and it's because sometimes the parents have no idea that that's what it's about too. It's like the coded language in music, and that's the whole purpose of that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, the guitar is loud. It sounds sick.
Right.
I want to. And then it was like I liked sports, and I played sports for a long time, but I really didn't like. It wasn't like my passion. I was like, this is fun, and I'm not that good at it, but like I'm kind of having a fun time a little bit. But like then with music, I was like, oh, I suck at this, but like I actually want to practice it.
Yeah.
I actually actively want to get better.
Like drums.
Yeah.
Drums have been pretty much the only constant. Yeah,
Um,
like I've gone in and out of a lot of different hobbies and things
Right.
and special interests.
Dude, I wanted to be in the
but-
NBA when I was 10. I was like, I'm gonna be in the NBA. That shit was never gonna happen, dude.
No, you totally could have done it. You totally
Yeah.
could have done it.
But
For
it's
sure.
it's no, I agree with that. Where sometimes like the thing you end up doing, it's not like it was your first passion. Like a lot of the times you have 4 or 5 different passions. When
I
you're
thought
growing
I
up,
was
and
going to
then
be a journalist, but then I realized how much you have to write.
Yeah.
I was like, never mind. Never mind.
yeah. I don't know. There was like a time too where like I wanted to get into production, but I'm like, that is very tedious. I don't know if I want to do production. And then video editing, it's like I suck at doing video work, but it's just what I enjoy the most. So I can kind of relate to it in that way. So okay, when you guys are creating music, do you consider the meaning before you start making it, or do you consider the sound first?
It's a little bit of like column A, column B. Like yesterday morning, I woke up and started like writing this song, which is "I Want to See You on a Pine Tree," which it's like that was just like a nonsense phrase, but like then I was
Right.
like, oh, like kind of like there was a nice melody to it, so
Yeah.
I've started kind of like piecing that song together, and a lot of times it's like I'll write like 15, 20 verses for a song.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, let's whittle that down. What makes the most sense? What like makes what is like actually like the core of what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
And sometimes it's like something can just sound nonsensical, but it sounds really good, or it's like really evocative. And so then it's like, okay, like I'll just, that's the song now. And if anyone
Right.
asks me what it means, maybe I'll have an answer. Maybe I'll just be like,
Right.
it sounded nice,
Yeah, I mean, because when I've listened to the music you guys have made, like I'm not even necessarily listening to like what all the words mean. Like I love the sound of it, but then I also feel like I give it my own meaning just from like the feeling, or like certain words I hear, I end up coming up with my own meaning as just the listener.
Yeah.
But
Good.
yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I should probably have a better understanding of like what all the lyrics are about, but no, I find it fascinating.
You should have your own meaning. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
my favorite, like I was
each
like
their own.
I was having I was listening to the song Life's a Gas by T-Rex a lot yesterday.
Mhm.
And it's like, even though like that song I wasn't necessarily relating to word for word, is that it was like so evocative, and I was like, man, this is like a gorgeous song.
Right.
And it's one of those things that it's like I'd much rather have like be like, oh, these words have their own meaning to me, as opposed to like Mark Bolan's Ghosts comes crashing through my window and is like,
Right.
no, this is the correct interpretation. It's like,
Right, I hear what you're
think it's
saying.
much more beautiful.
That makes sense. Have you guys ever had like problems with working together as a duo? Is there ever like certain issues that
Ask
I don't
my
know?
lawyer.
Yeah.
That's not to be discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
no,
like-
not really. I mean,
Not really. I'm the difficult one to work with. I'm moody.
yeah. Oh my god.
You're the problem child.
We'll save that until after he heads to work.
right,
That's
right.
for the after show.
Yeah. No, that's,
But in all serious, not really. No. Sometimes I feel pretty blessed because like a 2-piece, just the two of us, is so easy to work with.
yeah. I would imagine, because if you're in a band of 4, I feel like that would be a little bit more complicated to, just the process of coming
Yeah,
up with all the songs
scheduling
with
and all
4
that.
people would take a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm in another band called Friendly Faces.
Yeah.
I love that
Shout
band,
out.
but everything does take a little bit longer because we have more cooks
Right.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to get more people's approval. You have to get more people recorded onto a song. With a two-piece, especially the fact that we live together, it's like part of the reason why we can release a lot of music is kind of towards the end of like one project. I'll
Right.
kind of in rehearsals be like, hey man, I wrote this new song. Like, let's just work on it really quick. And then it's like the next time we're recording drums, I'm like, oh, can we record both songs and stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like that's really rewarding and fun because then it's like you can kind of streamline the recording process a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting because when I talk to different artists, I'm always trying to figure out what's the execution method or how do they organize everything to make and there's never an answer for that. I feel like it's just everyone creates their own way of coming up with their music, and there's just no. It seems like there's not a certain exact way to kind of form a song or something like that.
Yeah, no, it just to me it's like sometimes you go in with like a deliberate idea, and then sometimes it's like you just wake up singing nonsense and you're like,
Right.
oh, this is some good shit.
Right.
It's fire.
Yeah.
And then as far as live performances, how do you guys kind of land gigs? Like you guys did a Midwest tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
did.
what was all the different states that you guys like went to?
Went to Wisconsin, played a couple dates there. Went to Minnesota. Chicago, Michigan.
That one was easy because it was right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
right.
house. Our house show on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we traveled all the way to our home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Michigan and Ohio. That was a shorter tour because our first tour that we went on was like January
big.
2020, and it was like 2.5 weeks, and we did like Midwest and East Coast.
Yeah.
And this was kind of, it felt safe to tour again, so it was us kind of getting our feet wet back in that.
Yeah.
And neither of us have a car, so that's the biggest. That's why we don't tour
Yeah.
super often.
We had to
so we're
rent
working on
a
getting
van for that one.
car.
Oh damn, yeah. Yeah, that would probably get expensive after a while renting a van and everything.
Yeah, and there's no, and like, you know, a lot of times there's not guarantees of how much money you're gonna make either. So it's like you want to, not that it's about money, but you want to make enough money to where like
You can sustain it.
yeah,
at
yeah,
least,
you
right.
can fund the
Some
next
kind of
tour,
profit.
and you can,
Right.
Yeah, so
Because otherwise you
Yeah.
can't kind of keep it going if, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
if there's
Yeah.
bleeding money.
You got to be able to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the
Can't
bare
bankrupt yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was just gonna say also like how do you guys land those gigs when you go to different bars? Is it a matter of just hitting them up on their Instagram page or?
Yeah, like the funny thing is we don't do a lot of the direct asking anymore. A lot of times people like especially in Chicago, we have a lot of friends who are in the scene and they also play a lot of shows. So it's like eventually it's like they'll be like, oh, let's just ask Yin Waster, and
Right.
vice versa too, because we throw shows here, and so like we try to like invite our friends who we just like seeing perform here. So it's
Right,
like
right.
essentially for a little bit of work we get a free show.
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
friends playing.
Yeah.
So
That
you
makes
have fun.
Was there ever like a show that you guys had to do that you felt like there was a lot of like frustrations with it, like certain things went wrong and you kind of had to like overcome that, or?
The Detroit show on that tour
Yeah.
really got me because it was like my grandparents were there and my mom was there and my amp kept cutting out and the sound guy was like making out with his girlfriend the entire time.
Oh my god.
And so like every time I kept being like, hey man, like I'm having troubles, he like seemed like angry that he had to do his job, and I'm like, listen
Right.
man, like I've had my days too on the job where I want to do it, but
Yeah.
like please sir.
Yeah, it's like that's why you're here.
Also, our
Yeah.
show in Milwaukee was a little bit hectic.
I threw
Damn.
out my voice. That was another one. My voice was all fucked for that show.
We couldn't get the board.
Yeah, even though the board was there, we had a friend. It was a whole thing. It ended up coming
Yeah.
together quite nicely, I think, overall considering the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that. I kind of wanted you guys. That's kind
Yeah.
of why I asked the question. I just wanted to hear you guys. I look. Just wanted to hear you guys bring up a
there was
certain
going to
thing.
be a sound guy. There was not a sound guy.
Yeah, they told me it
Yeah.
was gonna be a sound guy. I didn't know it was a free show. No one told
Yeah.
me that.
Mhm.
God, I don't know. That type of stuff would stress me out. And there's moments like that where I feel like people who aren't artists, they don't think about all the stresses that come with
Yeah.
it. They just think it's
We did
really
one in
cool,
North
fun thing all the
Carolina.
time. Oh yeah.
Where the microphone kept shocking your teeth.
Oh yeah, and then the
Green-
guy
in
gaslit
Greenville.
me. The guy's like, it's
And he was
not
like,
shocking
no,
my teeth.
no, it's not.
And I'm like, put your mouth on that fucking microphone. And then he was like, no. And I'm like, well then. He's like,
That's crazy. So
yeah.
how did that even happen? Like,
It's just like not well
wasn't
grounded.
grounded,
yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't well. No, it was in. Yeah, that was even before. The lucky part was, so I perform barefoot, because
Right.
I do a lot of like like with my pedal board and stuff, I'll like adjust knobs while I'm like singing and playing. And I also just like feeling the earth below my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like really funny. So I wasn't playing barefoot at that time. I was still wearing shoes. So I'm like, I could have probably not died, but the shocks could have been a lot worse, considering. Yeah.
Jeez, that's so bad. Yeah, I don't know. I would not. I don't know. I don't think I could be an artist, honestly. Like I don't know if I could do it, but I respect everyone who does it, and that's why I love just talking to art.
Yeah.
Like musicians specifically in general.
But like that's like three.
Yeah,
we
of
just
course,
named three things out of like how many hundreds. Or
I'm sure, right?
However many we've played.
Right. There's probably so many that go, and it's also probably so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah. How was that like playing it? Have you also played in front of your family before?
Yeah.
Like how is that for you guys? Just because I was just context, I was in orchestra and stuff, so I played the violin since like 4th grade all the way through.
Yeah, I did band too. I did do band in high school.
Are you guys ever at family events and they're like, yo, come on, come play, like, play for the family, and you're like, dude, I don't want to do this right now.
Luckily, not too many people want a solo drummer. But
right.
I got into ukulele in high school, and sometimes my family tries to get me to play ukulele in front of everyone. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play if I don't get paid.
I think I had to play the recorder at one point too. I was like, I'm not
first grade.
Crossbun.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it all the time just because it's like, oh, you have a guitar.
Yeah.
Get it? And I'm like, no, I don't. I actively don't want to do this. Like, it's not because obviously I love playing music, but it's like if I'm home, I go home like maybe like 2-3 times a year. So it's like I don't want to like.
It's a vacation.
It's hardly a vacation. Well, it's
a holiday.
Yeah, it's a time where I'm trying to probably actively not do work.
Yeah, do the thing
holiday.
that you usually do. You want to just relax.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, like I remember one time it was like a couple years into college. I came back. And my friend Adam, who I love dearly, had invited a bunch of friends over who I hadn't seen in years, and they're all like, "Oh, we need you to play guitar."
Play
and so
Wonderwall.
I just played a bunch of my own songs, and then they were just like, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah.
Like, but they're also not artists and stuff. They were just kind of like guys.
Right.
So
right.
I'm playing these like abstract lyric acoustic songs. They're like interesting. There's like ripping their
this is what you do.
and shit. Like there's ripping their Jules. Shout out Jules.
Shout out Jules. Yo, whatever happened to Jules?
You know what happened to Jules? They got fucked, man.
Yo, they got screwed, bro. They got the wrong deal.
Exactly.
Dude, they were just the patsy for a larger issue at hand.
It's all the government.
yeah, bro. It's
limiting their flavors.
Bro, let's expose the government, bro.
Free speech.
No one's ever said this before.
Free Jewel.
America bad.
Dude, hot take, bro. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Did you do band in high school?
I did. I was in the jazz band. I was in choir, and I didn't do band like orchestra or anything in high school. Because I was just in choir, but I did do the jazz band, and I was considered by the teacher, Miss Christy Jason, God rest her soul. Dude, she was a really funny lady, because she was like the kind of whack band teacher that would like kind of say and do things, and they wouldn't be like offensive or bad or like hurtful. You just be like,
it was just kind of different.
Yeah, I was like, you're built different, Christy, but like.
You're a musician.
Wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But the thing was, is like also I was kind of a snot-nosed teen who was like, I've been taking guitar lessons. I'm like one of the best players in the band, which is like really funny because for a long time I had a very low self-esteem. But in that one situation, I was like, none of you motherfuckers know what an inversion is. I will fucking inversion you under the table right now, dog. Like. It was stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Did you guys ever feel like certain types of kind of insecurities in the beginning, maybe about it, or just maybe just not confident when you started off, or how did you guys handle that when you were first? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Like, I don't know, because I just think about I was kind of like insecure about doing video work when I was younger, and I felt like I almost kind of had to hide it, like from my parents or stuff like that. I don't know, because they just didn't understand why I appreciated it.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you guys kind of relate to that at all or anything like that.
Yeah, no, like, even like last night. So I don't know when this is coming out, but I'm doing this thing that's kind of a way to like push myself a little bit musically, which is covering songs just solo guitar and voice. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and so it's a way to like kind of learn someone else's song, but also have something else to post. And I'm having my friend Cam from Friendly Faces, who's done our merch before. I'm having him do like the album artwork for it. And so like it was one of those things I was like listening back to this one and I was like, I fucking hate this. I remember like a month ago when I recorded this, it sounded so sick. But it was like one of those things I'm like, it's actually probably fine. I'm just I have a lot of self-doubt. But so that's why like I think the biggest thing is like you can have a lot of self-doubt. You just gotta like send it.
Right.
You just gotta,
Definitely.
Yeah.
You just gotta be like,
gotta
well,
do it.
I can't like at its core it's like the things I don't like about it are that I don't think my voice is that good and I'm concerned that someone's gonna be like, this mix is terrible, and I'm just like, well, like I think it sounds good and I think it works, so I'll just send it, and if no one likes it, that's fine because I'm already on to the next thing, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's kind of one of those things where you just have to confront moments where it might just feel a little uncomfortable, you know, or like if someone makes a comment, you just kind of have to roll it off
by the horns and just do what you want to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what else.
What are your feelings on feelings?
My feelings on feelings?
Yeah. Any thoughts, opinions?
I think sometimes I don't know if I should be feeling the feeling I'm feeling in that moment.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know if I should ignore it or just kind of embrace it. Because sometimes, obviously people are like, embrace your feelings, but I feel like sometimes there's moments where it's definitely not beneficial to lean into the feelings.
Yes.
How do you feel about feelings?
No, I think that's a very good opinion. Because I've recently kind of realized that it's a fine line between the feelings that you embrace, and then if you embrace every feeling when you feel it, a lot of times you can shoot yourself in the foot. And you can actually kind of get into a cycle of a cycle where like the problem or whatever you're trying to go through is never really fixed. Like yesterday I was listening to this podcast, bro.
Oh yeah.
And it was like talking about and it was talking about types of attachment styles, and it was like and there was a phrase that it was like, you know, it's like you need time for wounds to heal, but with like certain personalities, if you're always picking at the wound, it'll never heal. And it was like referring to like trauma.
Right.
And I was like, and I think that sounds like so dumb because that's like such a simple phrase, and it was like something I feel like I already knew, but it's like the way that the person said it, I was like, oh my god, you're so right. Like there's a reason why like I'm hung up on some of these things, and it's because like I've treated it with the same level of importance that it in my life, even though it happened a long time ago, as if it just happened yesterday. Yeah,
it's interesting because I sometimes feel like if you're focusing on it, it just puts a magnifying glass on it and sometimes can just make the issue feel bigger. But then there's also the balance of not wanting to completely ignore it, because it's like if you completely ignore it, then, you know, that can be an issue that builds up if you're not confronting certain things. So it's kind of a weird balance almost.
Yeah, just pay attention to your feelings.
yeah, pretty much. Go to therapy if you haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I'm in therapy right now. That shit's crazy. I love my therapist, Sarah.
Oh
dude,
yeah,
she's so sick because she says I'm funny, and then she's also like gives me good life advice. I'm like, whoa, dude,
crazy.
No, let's
take my parents' insurance.
Yeah, I did therapy for a while. I kind of stopped it because I just like. I don't know. I'm fixed. I'm done. Now. I don't need to do anything anymore. No, but I will definitely return. I'll be Return of the Jedi, Return to the Therapist.
Return to the therapy.
But I think for me, I was kind of I'd go weekly, like once a week, and there'd be certain weeks where I'd go and I'm like, I don't know if I like feel like I need to talk about anything this week. Like there'd be certain weeks where I'd go and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm good. Like, I think I'm good. Or I don't know. Maybe sometimes I just didn't always want to talk about it every week. Mm-hmm. Like I kind of wanted breaks because otherwise I felt like if I like was always constantly focusing on every week, I don't know how much that would serve me to always focus. But it's
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hyper focusing.
Yeah, different types of people.
Yeah,
different types of therapy.
But it was also still like great. Like I also really enjoy therapy too. Like it's you know what I mean? Yeah, like I got a lot out of it. there's this thing where I'm not gonna say the person, but they were saying if they were to never change at any point and they were to be the person that they are right now for the rest of their life, like, are you willing to accept that, and like, would you keep that relationship if they're that way? And then that made me really completely rethink like everyone in my life, because I was like, oh, I have to not think that people are just gonna like always change. I have to just accept them for like who they are. You know, I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that, or I don't know.
Yeah, man.
No, but my grandpa said that to my mom when she got married to my dad. That was like hey, like, do you love him as he is now?
Right.
And she was like, yes, of course. He's like, good, because like people change, but people also don't do tons of change.
Right.
Like, you can change your opinion, but like your general like something that it's like, even for myself, that's just harder to do is like in the summer I exercised a whole bunch, but now it's the harsh cold in Chicago, and
too
I'm
cold
like,
for all that.
I'm like, I don't really feel like paying for a gym membership.
It's a lot of work.
I'm trying to currently date my way into a free rock climbing membership.
Yo, that's a flex.
No, that's
big brain.
That's a half lie.
Yeah. That's interesting. And then do you guys have any plans coming up for like future things that you're gonna do with Yin Waster?
Boy, do
like,
we.
Yeah. So
we're sitting on a couple little projects.
Yeah, we have a couple EPs. That one is fully recorded and done, and I'm just mixing it right now of original music. And we have like an EP of like band covers that should be out later this year. And then at the end, I think it's gonna be the last day of every month for this year. I'm gonna be releasing on like the YouTube page.
Nice.
Just a cover, just a short little 2-3 minute little cover. I've been really obsessed with the concept of like song, and like what makes certain songs work, and so I've been covering those songs. I think that'll be fun. It's very folky, very intimate, close mic'd for all the producers out there.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, because I'm kind of really nervous. I feel like I'm going to like the school talent show.
Yeah.
Here's a song I really like. And, like, they're all like kind of sad, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You gotta feel sad sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna close it out here. You guys have anything you want to like plug?
Our music's out everywhere.
Yeah.
We have shows coming up.
We do. Follow us
Follow
on
us
Instagram.
Hell yeah.
At Yin Waster.
At Yin Waster on Instagram, on Twitter.
On Twitter?
On X.
On X. It's not Twitter anymore.
Dude, I don't... fuck Elon Musk.
At least for now. We're on there.
That guy can...
Until it truly
buzz
crashes
off.
and burns.
That's the worst thing he ever did. He just changed it from Twitter to X. Just
Honestly,
the name, bro.
yeah,
That's
I
the
think his
worst
ego-
part.
I
That's
think
the
his-
most annoying thing.
His hubris is the worst part about him.
So much.
Yeah, I'll also put the link in the description to their Spotify music and then their Instagram as well. So.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple,
We're on
YouTube Music,
Napster.
On
Deezer.
We're on Napster.
Wait, for real?
We're on Napster, yeah.
I didn't even know Napster was still around.
I think they're trying to do streaming now.
Oh, okay.
You know what's really funny is I remember one time I was like, I looked this up and we were on like some like Russian
Pandora.
We were on like some like Russian pirating website.
Really?
Because it was only like 4 or 5 of our songs, and it was like a super fucked like website. But I was like, this is so awesome that someone out there is like these. Like, I listened to the album. These are the 3 good songs on it, and I'm gonna put it on this like website for people to download. I was like, that's kind of a high honor.
That
you know?
is.
That is actually really cool.
Hopefully it wasn't
that they
like
go out
just
of
an
their way to do
algorithm.
that. Yeah. I'm just imagining there's like this one country that we don't know about, and you guys just have a ton of fans there, but you just have no idea
waiting
that they
for it.
exist.
Yeah.
It's just those 3 songs.
Yeah. Have you guys met any fans that are kind of from just like a place you never would have expected, or like have you guys met anyone where you're like, oh shit?
Not like met IRL, but sometimes I think we have a couple like on Instagram. People will reach out and be like, hey.
Yeah. People like our music, which is really funny to me. like
no, dude, you guys are underrated as fuck. I swear to God, I was just telling Charlie about
I think
this.
there's been a couple like people in France or something.
Yeah, we have a few
reached
listeners
out.
in France, which I'm.
You guys go hard in France.
As a person who's like a hopeless, like
Waster.
lamented, romantic. I'm
Right.
like, fuck yeah, France. People are like downing wine and smoking cigarettes and eating bread, and they're like, damn, these little American guys are really grooving.
No, that's cool though. That's cool when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Charlie, you got anything you want to say to close it off?
Whoa. cameo.
Yo, we need a Charlie cameo.
Cameo from Chaz the Spaz Gaming.
No comment at this time. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that was just
Wait,
that was a lot.
have you guys seen Sopranos?
I've only watched like the first season.
I really want to watch Sopranos.
Should we watch Sopranos now?
We should watch Sopranos.
Yeah,
now.
let's.
All
Okay.
right, guys, we're gonna go watch
Bye.
Sopranos.
Good.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram. Listen to us everywhere.
Yeah, follow my
Peace.
OnlyFans.